Welcome back to the Safeties Off Show. Another one. Another good one.
A great one.
I feel like we start every episode like this, but this is a good episode.
But have we ever had a bad episode, though? That's the question.
I think we're on a hot streak.
26 strong.
26 strong.
Yes, sir.
Riley Finnegan from Simmons Sporting Goods. It's a great listen. Listen to the whole thing. The dude drops some knowledge.
He knows
He
a lot.
knows his stuff. And there's some things that I have no idea what he's talking about, but I hope to know one day. And I'm glad you knew some of it. But no, he's a super smart guy, super nice guy. And at the end, we talk about Simmons Sporting Goods. And I mean, it is just an ad for Simmons.
But they're worth it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not. He didn't mean for it to be an ad.
Yeah, no. I said it sells itself.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sells itself.
That store is incredible.
Store and the people in the archery department, and Riley and Todd, and I forget the other guy's name. A terrible person to me, but
We'll have him on next.
yeah, they're just fantastic people, and they're willing to help you no matter what level you're at. He even kind of talks about it in the video. They're there to help, not judge. They're not like, they're not punks about it.
They're the most down to earth guys ever.
Absolutely. So let's get to some ads, and then we'll get to Riley. This episode is brought to you by Dirty Duck Coffee. You guys know that years ago, passion was built around coffee and waterfowl. It evolved into a coffee and apparel brand called Dirty Duck. So right now, I feel like you guys don't trust us, and that's fine. Let me prove you wrong. Buy some Dirty Duck Coffee, promo code KCO15. Get you 15% off your entire purchase. Go check them out. Trip Tech, I got my Trip Tech. I always do. It's like a fidget spinner here. Kaplowy. These things are getting hot, by the way. Hot cakes. I saw 2 different Instagrams having these on their
Looky there.
on their lanyard, on their call lanyard. So you're gonna want to get ahead of that. Don't be the guy that shows up late to the party.
We're ahead of it.
Way ahead of it.
Way ahead.
Years ahead of it. Great guys. Great guys.
It's a cool.
Great guys. Great product.
Just the best.
Just the best. I don't know why I'm doing my hands like this. All right, so sorry about that. And then we also have HuntWise. HuntWise, use promo code KCO20 and you get 20% off of HuntWise. I have a HuntWise story I want to share on next episode. Cliffhanger.
Ooh, yes.
And then also Tidewee. I've been hunting out of a Tidewee blind and blind chair, 6 stuff. I've also got the Tidewee rangefinder. Go check them out. A review video of that ground blind is coming soon. If you haven't already, pause this and go and watch all our review videos. We're great.
We have some good ones.
We have some great ones. They got a little comic relief in there. We're kind of funny dudes sometimes. So go check those out if you're about to buy
some good knowledge. Some good
tried
stuff,
and true.
Man.
We put the stuff through the ringer.
We really did. Everything was tested.
Yeah, we didn't just like take it out the box and then talk about it.
Field test.
Yeah, we really used it. So go check it out. If you're needing a new bag or for saddle hunting or whitetail hunting or whatever, go check that out. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, do all that jazz. And enjoy the show. Learn something.
Bro, I almost caught that one.
You got that heater on full blast. You got all the windows down, and you're just you're such a
All right, so today on the podcast, we have Mr. Riley Finnegan, not Riley Finnegan.
Not Finnagen.
Not Finnegan. Riley Finnegan from Simmons Sporting Goods. If you've watched oh my gosh, I forgot the title to my own YouTube video. Bear Adapt setup, bow setup. Riley was in there. I forget, what were you talking about in the video there?
We talked about arrow weight, and then we talked about the IBO speed and why it's just a marketing tactic.
Yeah, marketing tactic. I mentioned marketing in one of our videos we pushed the other day, but I forget what I was talking about. How some things are marketed just to sell to the hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to make you buy money or buy money.
Yeah,
buy
we were
things,
talking
spend
about
money.
Yeah, we were talking about the ozonics, I believe, and how some things are made to trick the deer, some things are made to trick the hunter,
and a lot of things trick me.
Yeah,
a lot of things trick me.
I was told the other day that the best customer for a salesman is another salesman. Any salesman will fall for a good sales pitch, and I can tell you it's 100% true.
Riley, if you're ever about to buy something and you're like, I'm really scared I'm going to have buyer's remorse, you let Jordan talk to you.
I've sold more stuff for people that I don't get paid for than I can even tell you. Most of it.
That.
So let's ask. All right. So Riley, here's my first thing.
What you got?
What do you? I already know kind of what you do that's pretty nuts, and we're going to get into that, into the armband. But do you hunt with anything, or have you bought anything where you're like, I don't know, this might be a mother faker, this might be fake, this might not be real, but I'm doing it.
Every scent that I have gotten, it's always in the back of my head of, does this work? Coming from New Mexico, we play a lot with thermals. So like wait until midday. Then you have your heat, your cold drafts. Wind is always going to change on you. And I don't care what anybody says, wind is probably one of the number one things you got to think about as far as how you approach an animal. Like if you got the wind blowing straight towards a 340-inch bull, you don't take that stock. You figure out either how to get around them or wait for the thermals to change on you.
Right.
So coming into whitetail woods and hunting in Louisiana and Arkansas, everyone's like, oh, Scent Thief works, Nose Jammer works, all these scent brands. And I'm like, does it really? And then the last 2 deer I've shot have been straight downwind to me. And I've been wearing Nose Jammer and Scent Thief. And it's like, okay, yeah, some of the stuff works. So
they work. Yeah, that's what
I think I know for a fact Scent Jammer or Nose Jammer, and I know for a fact Scent Thief work.
I don't even know Scent Thief.
I don't know Scent Thief. I want to know. So go ahead.
Some stuff Todd swears by, and then he kind of was like, well, if you do this, or if you put this on, you spray it down every hour to 90 minutes, it'll work. No questions asked. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then it did, and it's like, there might be something to this. He actually talked to the guy who makes it at the ATA show last year and told him, hey, your stuff doesn't work. And he was like, well, did you apply it every 90 minutes or 60 minutes? And he's like, where does it say that on the package? Do you think anybody reads it? And the guy now actually packages it with a little instructions on the front where it says apply every 60 to 90 minutes.
Holy cow.
Compliments of Todd.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Todd,
got their own recipe,
dude.
man. Everybody swears by, you got to do this, and this. I got a buddy. He said the only thing that works, the trifecta, is Code Blue detergent,
okay,
with dead downwind spray and Nose Jammer shower stuff.
What about the old dryer sheets?
He didn't say. I'm assuming you would go Code Blue on the dryer sheets too.
I bought the dryer sheets. No big deal.
For which brand?
I don't know. It's orange and yellowish. Again, here comes my color blindness.
Dead downwind.
I don't know if it's dead
scent
downwind.
blocker.
I think it might be scent blocker. But here's the thing. I was thinking about it the other day. I washed some pants that I got some deer blood on. Humble brag. In the no scent stuff, and then I dried it with the dryer sheet, and then I immediately stuck those pants on a hanger next to my blue jeans.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I don't put it in a set, there's a lot of steps. And I'd love to hear, look, we got our same people in the Instagram live. GT's in there, very serious.
There he is.
hunting.
What's up, GT?
Our guys, we have tens of fans, and they come in, check out what we're doing, and they leave. But that's okay. I'd love to hear what other people have to say about this, because I, like you, I just spray myself down just in case.
No, I'm like anal about spraying.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I'll spray before I get in the truck. I'll spray after I get in the truck. I'll bring it to the tree and I'll spray my bottom stick.
Yeah.
I usually spray when I'm in the tree.
So, yeah, and some people are so hardcore into scent. And a few years ago, these people called crap, I'm going to forget it. And this is a great little plug to our tens of viewers. It's called Scent Magic or something like that. I talked about it in one of our YouTube videos, and they make different cover scents like white oak acorn, pine tree, blah, blah, blah. So this past weekend when I killed that deer, I'm within 30 yards of the feeder, and I'm not downwind, but that's pretty dang close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and in Louisiana, sometimes we just don't have true winds for the entire hunt.
I've never had a true wind for an entire hunt unless a storm was coming in.
I needed you to back me up.
Yeah, no,
Thank
not
you
at
for
all.
doing
It's
that.
always
Thank
swirling.
you for doing that. And anyways, I was wearing just the white oak on my boots only. I just sprayed my boots down and stuff, because I just I'm not a true believer, but I killed a deer with it. I don't think they ever smelt me.
I've never been. Well, let me ask you that. So, is Scent Thief it sounds like just a cover spray or a killer spray, not a cover scent, right? If there's there's no smell to it.
Right. It's going to kill all your odors, and then they have the enzymes in it that protect it. Todd explained it a lot better than what I could. He said use it, and it works, and it did, and so I keep using it.
Is Todd the goat? It's
Todd
not
is-
just the
Todd
hunter,
is-
100%. No questions asked.
the hunting goat.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh yeah, no, that dude's killed more deer than CWD, but you'll never know that if you talk about him.
That was such a classic.
That was a great
Hunters-
line.
That was such a hunter's joke there, Riley. Good job. That's going to be an
That's gonna be
Instagram
a
reel.
reel. I was just
Congrats,
about to say that.
You just
Yeah.
made TikTok, Instagram reel, and YouTube short. Good job, Riley.
Todd did too. Back attention.
Yeah,
So,
that's
there you
exactly
go.
right. Let me ask you this. So, like, that's not weird to be, to cover up and scent stuff and whatnot. But what is a little different is what you do with, like, knowing where landmarks are. Because I made the Instagram reel one time, and I do this all the time. I get in the same stand, and I just still range everything, 25,
Mhm.
30, 35, 20. And I have little marks and whatnot. And you made an interesting comment. Could you, like, elaborate on what that is, what you do to not have to range everything?
I was
So,
interested in
I
that.
still range everything, but what I'll do is I'll get a little data card, so like a note card, and then I'll actually write down and draw like little landmarks. So the last one I did, I had 3 lanes where I could shoot from, basically one straight in front of me, one off to my right, and then one hard off to my left. And so what I did was there was 2 prominent landmarks in each of those lanes. One was a down tree, one was a rock, one was just a tree by itself. So I actually like drew a little sketch of it. And then I have a quarterback sleeve that I actually put on my arm. And so when I'm at full draw, I can actually kind of like, I have to move my entire anchor
Yeah.
over, but I can like kind of look, just quick reference. Okay, the down tree's at 26 yards. And then I shoot a spot hog dual pin. And so it's 20 and 40. And so I'll be able to kind of judge it. Okay, I need to hold right over its back or right under it.
Right.
That is the smartest. freaking
Yeah,
thing.
that's pretty smart, Riley.
I'm gonna start doing that, and I know you're gonna say something about, oh, you got the Garmin, but
Oh yeah, you do have the Garmin.
yeah, but it doesn't matter. I learned shooting at Pro Tip's house. It happened twice. I climbed up in the saddle
Yeah.
for the first time. Like I'd shoot on the ground, then I go up in the saddle. Well, the yardages are different, right? So then I'm like,
Yeah.
I range up at the 3D target.
Mhm.
That was the far target. So it said that it was 60 yards. I was like, man, I thought it was 50, but whatever. Well, I shoot over its back, lose arrow too. But I range again when I'm not, all torqued in the saddle, and sure enough, it's at 50. I had ranged over his back. I mean, like, there's nothing telling you what you're ranging.
Yeah, right.
So now, I mean, if I do that, I know for sure, like, okay, this is going to be between 20 and 40. And then I know for sure if it says 37, it's 37. It's not, I guess it could still be 27, but
Yeah.
but that should hit a deer though.
Yeah. You should. Yeah. Should be pretty dang
Anyway,
close. At
Point
least.
being, that's brilliant, and I'm going to start doing
It
that.
is brilliant.
That's
Maybe we
it's
need to
the
start-
yeah. I don't want to say how many deer I missed before I figured that out, but it was more than 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's more than we've killed this year.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen this year. Good, jeez. I have had 1 deer in bow range all season,
It's been a long year. It's
and
been a crappy year.
he would have died too.
Yeah.
I'm not. We don't buck shame, but I'm not a fan of shooting spikes. It's just my thing. I don't know. I like to, even on public land, I just can't. I'm like, man, but if he lives, next year
Sure.
he'll be whatever.
Yeah.
But I hadn't
But
seen
think on
anything.
public land, anybody sees this, I mean, it's going to die within 5 seconds.
For
Like,
sure.
it's-
I mean, for sure.
and that's the frustrating part where it's like
Yes.
people are like, "Oh, I wish I'm a meat hunter. I'm a meat hunter." Dude, there's more meat on bigger deer. Just throwing that out there.
Mhm.
But at the
There's a
same
lot
time,
more meat on a 3-year-old doe than on a yearling spike. Yeah.
and it's definitely. I mean, the deer are overpopulated. I live off of 165, and so I see dead deer on the highway every day I drive to work. So it's, I'd rather someone take that deer than that deer get hit by a car, and then some family who doesn't hunt has to go through a deer crashing through their window.
Yeah.
At
For sure.
55 miles an hour. So it's kind of that, but at the same time, there's a huge problem with overpopulation right now.
Oh, we've got a huge herd. Me and another buddy were talking about that the other day. Because we're all complaining about not seeing the deer that we want to see, but we take for granted we have a massive herd in this state.
Yep.
Now we have a lot of hunters. That's why it's
You kill
frustrating.
6 deer.
Yeah,
You
right.
just 6 deer.
Right.
I mean, like that's.
I mean, we get mad when we go to public land because there's so many hunters, and we do have a huge hunting population too. But that doesn't change the deer numbers. They're just not where you see them because there are so many hunters. You got to figure out where to go.
Yeah.
But they're there.
And
makes
that's
it
part of the
fun.
fun part. It's a chess match between you, the deer, and then the guy 300 yards that way, and the guy 200 yards that way.
Yeah.
That part is less fun. Me and the deer, yes. Me and the deer can play all day long. I'll play checkers, chess, Connect Four, whatever they want to play. Me and the other hunters, I want to play a game of who cut whose tires because I get real tired of walking 3 miles to the back of, the farthest piece of the property I can get, and then Larry comes riding by on his big red 3-wheeler. Too mad.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
And it's a lot of work. That's one of the reasons I kind of quit duck hunting too, is because you put in so much work duck hunting. And then you return.
But I can be 50 yards from somebody and still kill ducks. I can't be 50 yards from somebody and kill a deer unless he happens to come by me first.
Yeah, arguable, but more so, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, like you have a better chance. I'm thinking still,
arguable, but more so, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean.
Like I've been duck hunting once in Arkansas, and I didn't realize boat racing was the main event. Immediately followed by a foot race by swim, and then immediately that's when you may get to duck hunt a little bit. Like it was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. This is like there are more adequate ways of my time being spent.
People die doing it, man. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I went to over in your neck of the woods. We went to Russell Sage, or I think it was second split opener. And I got there at 1 a.m. I drove from Shreveport, got there at 1 a.m. I was not even first in line at 1 a.m., by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time it got to be, I think 4 o'clock, you can go in. The line of trucks was as far as you can see. Could not see past all the headlights. They opened the gate, or the game wardens were there, whatever they did. Sounded a gun off, I don't know. But we all went. And I noticed everybody has the gates off their trailers. And all their buddies got out, and all the four-wheelers are parked on the trailers backwards, and they're all sitting on the four-wheelers. And so as we drive through the gate, they're just ramping off the back and boom, gone. Then the other buddies going to park in the rig. I mean, it was nuts.
That's me and Jay. We were those guys.
It was nuts.
I rode the four-wheeler in. That's what's wild is we went and hunted in Columbia. One of my first experiences was opening morning in Columbia, and we got there. So it opens on a Saturday. We get there at Friday, like after lunch. We're the first truck. And we unpack, we cook, we do all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And then as trucks come, you just go to the next one. Like, hey, guys, we're going here. Where are y'all going? Basically like, hey, there ain't no sense in all this racing. We got here. We're going to beat you there.
Right.
But what we did, I'm about to let loose all the secrets. I hope Jay doesn't listen to this. But here we go. We're going to do it. This is good. All right, Riley, this stays in between the podcast and the tens of listeners.
Oh, 100%.
We got there first. We had some other buddies get there second, right behind us, right? Same time. And we were the fast truck, and they were the slow truck.
Oh, that just held the whole rest of the crew back.
So we just held the whole rest of the crew. Well, they figured out what we were doing, the third or the fourth truck. And they pass us on this freaking, public land road, flipping us the bird. One guy's mooning us in the back seat. It was wild, man. And then we had already cranked the four-wheeler, and had it going for 10, 15 minutes. That way we knew it would start. And I mean, we all had certain jobs. You grab this, you grab this, you grab this, and we rolled. I mean, we've done that. I've lost my gun on public land trying to beat people. I think that's what got me.
Duck hunting's a whole different animal, man.
Yeah.
People will literally kill the guy in Tennessee, people will kill each other for some ducks. Crazy. Yeah.
It's like ducks and turkey hunters. Those are the two just, I don't want to say craziest, but just different breeds of people that I've met down here.
What do you think?
Bird hunters.
I was about to say, why do you think so? Turkey hunting. I don't know. I don't know anything about public land turkey hunt.
Some of the stories I've heard of guys where it's like, hey, we're going to go this way. And they're like, okay, cool. And they go right to where they told them that they were going to go. And then just, it's a big deal if you can kill a turkey on public land in Louisiana, just because there's not that many of them, but where there's a lot of them, there is a lot of them. So just some of the horror stories I've heard about guys getting peppered at 70 yards, things like that.
Yeah,
I think bird hunters just have an arrogance, and I duck hunt. I'm not saying other people. I'm just saying I think bird hunters in general have this arrogance about them that deer hunters don't have. We know we're going to get humbled in the tree 90% of the time. I think there's just something different. Like that same guy that I was talking to, he's the one that I was in Kansas with when we went duck hunting, and he told me a dozen stories about hunting deer on public land in those walk-in spots. And he said, you'd be there, and all of a sudden these pheasant hunters would just come walking by, and they look, you'd holler at them, they'd look up and wave, and then just start shooting pheasants, they don't care.
That would piss me off.
Oh, me too. If I drove 12 hours to have some freaking guy in blue jeans come walking by with
An
his spotted
orange
dog.
vest.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's some bird hunters have a different mindset.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you this, Riley. You hunt Arkansas, right? Public land, Arkansas.
Yeah, just outside of Crossett.
So why do you do that versus because you live in Louisiana, right? You attend ULM, throw for
Yep.
ULM track team or track and field, I guess.
I didn't know that. Now it's all making sense. Finney throws.
There you go.
Benny throws his Instagram handle for those of you that don't know. So, yeah, you're slowly putting it all together.
You never put it together.
I
for
know,
me. You have
well-
all the.
Oh, you guys
information.
even
I had no
haven't
idea.
even heard the backstory yet. I mean, that's just only the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, all right. Well, here
yeah,
we go.
Pause then.
Yeah.
Story time.
Okay, so all right, so I grew up in an Air Force family. So I'm actually was born in Alaska.
Sick.
Sick
So not quite that north. No, it's just outside of Anchorage, the Air Force base out there. So lived there for 3 years. Remember bits and pieces of it, but don't remember a ton of it. Mostly just there's being a moose on the porch and kind of freaking out about that because there's a moose on the porch.
Yeah, that's not normal.
It is
no
not.
explanation needed there. Yeah, there was a moose on the porch. That's worth freaking out about.
Yeah, that was the easiest phone call for my dad being late to work that day. It's nothing you can do about it. It's a moose. So went from there to Oklahoma. That's where my dad really got me into hunting, especially archery. He duck hunted a little bit on some private land that we had access to. I was a gentleman that lived right across the street from us. So we're able to deer hunt, turkey hunt, and duck hunt, quail hunt, rabbit hunt out there. So that was a really, really cool experience. One of my favorite memories is a doe being from I think it was right at 2 yards away from this blind, and I'm just shaking so bad. And she caught onto that, and it's that thing. That's what hooked me on just on bow hunting, where it's like, okay, this is cool. I like this.
Yeah.
And then we moved to it was Las Vegas, Nevada. Hated the living in the big city out there. Just got to do a little bit of hunting, but it was pretty bad. That was a rough time. And then we moved to Alamogordo, New Mexico, which I claimed to be home. That's where I went to middle school, high school, graduated, then ended up going to school in Colorado for a very short time, about just over a year. And then went to University of New Mexico.
Lobos.
Yeah, I survived. I was actually a Lobo for a little bit, 6 months, played the lacrosse, did not, again, that's when I kind of discovered I hate big cities and I don't want to live there. Because Albuquerque is not a fun spot. They do have a couple of really cool archery spots, but other than that, that's about it.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, all I hear about is golf and partying. I don't think they have anything else.
I'm pleading the fifth on that one. But so I was like, okay, what's the middle of nowhereest college I can find? And South Plains College popped up in Levelland, Texas, about maybe 40 minutes outside of Lubbock, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Had some family in the area, so all right, good fit for me. Walked onto the track team, 2-time national finalist, All-American there, and then got picked up by Louisiana Tech, and that's what actually got me into Louisiana.
What a story.
So yeah, graduated from Tech and then did a grad transfer over to ULM. Finished up my last year of collegiate track last year, so I got one more year. Kind of, we're still finagling kind of what was going on there. It's new throws coach, so we're still trying to find out the details if that's something I want to keep doing or not. So
discus, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I was about
Discus
to ask. Yeah,
is
discus.
sick.
That is sick.
Yeah, 6'3", 7 something wingspan.
Yeah,
So it's good for draw length and throwing a frisbee. That's about it.
If I ever call you and tell you that I have a money game of frisbee golf going, just don't ask questions and show up, okay?
Yeah.
I may or may not have been in Eugene, Oregon, playing frisbee golf during the national track meet while some of the running events were happening.
Oh, wow.
That is awesome.
Well, that's sick. That's a sweet story. I too. That's right. Because I've forgotten you had thrown at Tech, the far superior college than ULM. And
Okay.
yeah, well, I don't know. We're not going to get into that, Riley. I like
There's a little rivalry that going
Yeah,
there.
I don't want this. It's like the ugly stepbrother you never wanted, is what ULM.
Oh,
is.
100%.
And I have my bachelor's from Tech, humble brag, master's from ULM, and
Yeah.
I still don't like my friends. We all went to Tech. A lot of all my college buddies, and they're always like, "Dude, we're gonna put a alumni sticker on your truck. You're not ever going to notice. It's just going to be there one day. I was like, y'all do that, I'm going to punch somebody.
It's accurate.
I mean, it is accurate, but whatever. But that is an interesting story. So growing up in New Mexico, you elk hunted, I take, right? Or
Okay, yeah, anything with 4 legs, fur, or 2 legs and a wing. There was actually we got into some really good duck hunting down there too.
really?
Yeah, so New Mexico, I make the joke, if I spit in a bucket, that's the most amount of water I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That's not entirely true. There's a giant man-made lagoon right outside the Air Force, or right on the Air Force Base property. And at the time, me and my brother were both youth hunters, and so we got to hunt the youth duck hunting season. No one else, and it's on base. No one else really took advantage of it. So I've killed quite a few ducks before.
Yeah, I guess I got nowhere else to go. I mean, that's
exactly. It's like you got water right there. There's a few little spots, but that was like the major lake, and it wasn't even that big. It was a couple acres.
And y'all didn't realize how good y'all had it, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, no. When I'm shooting, like we'd shoot shovelers one day. Teal would come in a couple days after that, and then we've shot pintails out of there, gadwalls, widgeons, mallards, one canvasback. That was actually the first duck my brother ever shot.
The fastest one. One of the fastest.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, one of the prettiest ones too.
Canvasback, yeah, laser beams.
It was moving, and then it was very quickly not moving. Little brother was an absolute dead eye with shotgun at the time. He was doing 4-H with the skeet shooting and all that, and he got pretty good at it.
I feel like that's everybody. Like, I feel like I was a much better shot when I was in high school.
You don't think about it.
You don't think about it. You don't care.
Shotgun's an instinct
Yeah.
weapon. You know, if you aim it, you're going to miss.
And yeah, and now I'm really
So
bad.
as a kid, you just throw it up and shoot it. That's what you're supposed to do.
Now I'm just
Accuracy by volume of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Blunderbuss.
Now I'm just overthinking in everything.
I want to know where ducks come from to get to New Mexico. Like, what flyway is that? I know California's got a good hunt. I guess it
Pothole
just comes
region.
out.
The pothole region.
The crab honey were lost, but don't pull over for directions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. I mean, they shouldn't want to be there.
No, yeah. Was it? But Albuquerque's northern New Mexico, right?
Yeah, and I grew up southern, so like I'm closer to El Paso, and that's kind of the major landmark that a lot of people know of.
Well, I mean, I know South America gets a ton of birds, so I guess it makes sense. They make their way there somehow.
Cinnamon teal?
Blue wing teal, blue wing and green wings.
Cinnamon. You would think cinnamon are further west, right?
I think so. I've killed I've not killed a cinnamon. I have seen cinnamon here, but it's rare.
Yeah, we don't. That's the big thing is, well, that's one of the big ducks here. And when people kill it, or if they kill a sea duck, obviously it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because cinnamon teal, I feel like, are always more western.
I don't know anybody that's killed a sea duck. I've seen cinnamons, but
Goldeneye.
is that
a sea
considered
duck?
a sea duck?
I think so. In a harlequin.
Harlequin is a sea duck.
Yeah, harlequin. I don't know if a goldeneye is now. Now I'm showing my ignorance, but who cares?
That's our
whole thing.
That's
That's
our
my
tag.
whole brand. Yeah,
that's our brand.
That's how stupid I am. Okay, speaking of how stupid I am, I did have something that I think is genius, and I want to bring it back up because I don't feel like I got the respect it deserved. Because I said it on one of the first podcasts ever. I think
Probably for a reason.
we were talking about jerk. We were talking about inventions.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an invention the other day. Doesn't have anything to do with the outdoors. We'll get to that later. But you said you lost an arrow the other day.
Mm-hmm.
GPS arrows.
They had that already.
You mean the blue what's it called?
Yeah, it's
breadcrumb.
It's funny you were saying. I was picturing blue when you said that. I knew it was something.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
little
they
blue
have
box. It's like $47 a piece.
That's been out for a while, bro.
What?
Yeah.
How long? Because I said this.
A while.
I can look at my notes.
Like 3
Months.
to 5 years now.
Yeah, I would say
it.
closer to. I'd say 5 years.
Yeah, like we had
Yeah.
we had them at Simmons for a while.
They have GPS golf balls too. If you're going to come up with that idea next.
No, that's stupid. My arrows is way better. So wait, you shoot the arrow.
It's got an app and it tells you where it's at.
It's like imagine like a mini what's it called for the iPod users, the air tracker, the
Air.
Yeah.
yes, imagine a little one in the back of your nock and it's flashing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a nocturnal, a GPS all in one. Like I said, it's like $47 a pop. Like it's
And that didn't take off?
It's $47 a pop.
I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. And imagine that. So you've already got, if you're like us and you're
That's
shooting
true.
heavy and you've got $100 broadhead in your probably $15, $20 a piece arrow, and then
Plus your
$50 on the
insert.
back. I mean,
Plus your
plus your
insert.
insert. I mean, you're talking about losing $200 if you hit a pig in the shoulder.
That's true. Yeah. GT Outdoors said
I thought
that.
the heavy arrows were supposed to go through the shoulder.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that. Yeah, it's super heavy. If you're trying to shoot FOC, you're screwed with that thing. You got a whole GPS on the back.
Yeah, it's like
Throwing a
24.
satellite dish.
Okay,
Your
well-
light knocks more than that.
Y'all have left
Oh,
me.
you think?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. So we weighed them out. Like we had one guy ask about FOC, and it was like 0.2% difference between his normal knock and that knock, and I was like, whatever.
So the GPS knock is lighter than a lighted knock?
It's within like 2 grains of each other because it's
Really?
a lighted knock cut down, and then the GPS is tiny. Like the amount of technology and how small stuff is getting is insane.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, you already got the battery because it's lighted, so I guess all you're adding is whatever kind of microchip.
Like 2
It's
grains,
GPS.
2-3 grains maybe.
That makes sense.
I'm so pissed.
I mean, I want them. I've always wanted them. I just
If you
don't.
can find a cheap one, it's going to take
Right.
off, but you're going to have to find a
If
cheap.
it had gotten bigger, there would be cheaper ones by now. But
Oh, 100%.
it's like TVs, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just not. But I mean, think about it. How many do you lose now? If you're a competition guy, I could see it being beneficial. Well, if you're a competition guy, you're probably getting sponsored, but
I thought it was
Competition
more,
guy, he's probably not missing though.
he's not.
Yeah,
Touche.
yeah,
Touche.
yeah, and you probably don't
I
care. You're
don't-
probably getting dozens of arrows sent to you.
I just don't like. I miss when I'm sighting in or just target shooting and I'm shooting 100 times. You know, if I'm
Yeah.
in the woods, I don't usually lose them.
I honestly thought it would be cool if you hit a deer and it stuck in it for a while,
Right.
and you would be like, oh look, it went this way. I could just basically skip all the finding the blood. I'm going straight to the arrow.
If you're shooting FOC, it's going to go straight through though, or it should.
Yeah, it should. And so now I'm a moron, and I'll never say that again. I'm going to erase it. Fine, I'll erase it.
Oh, no. No, you're
Here's
not.
another thing I found out that is out there: poisonous pods that people
Mhm.
put on their arrows in between
Yeah.
the broadhead. Guys, where
That's
have I been?
So that's
That's a really old thing I now
it
understand.
is, but that's a good thing to bring up. We've talked about that. Actually, we just talked about that a month ago while we were duck hunting about whether when you first hear it, you're like, oh God, poisoning an animal, that's inhumane.
Mhm.
But you think about
You're
it,
killing it.
it's dead. Doesn't matter. Now,
Like my
there's two
thing,
sides
if,
to this.
if
Go
you
ahead.
did it, I think if you did it for the like youth or like anyone under the age of like 16, I think it has its advantages. But it's like if you're over 16, you're probably pulling more than 50 pounds or 45 to 50 pounds. Right arrow setup, right broadhead, just doing your due diligence as far as your bow setup, you're going to be just fine.
I just found the title to this podcast. Riley Finnegan says poisoning deer is okay.
If you're a child, children poisoning deer.
Yeah,
You're-
children
you're a
may
kid, you
poison
can
deer.
poison deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riley
I
Finnegan.
mean,
So my
It's-
initial thought was that it's more ethical because if you make a bad shot, the deer's going to die,
Mhm.
which I like. I hate the
Yeah.
idea, and I've already done it. This year, I
Right.
hate the idea of hitting a deer, which that deer was fine. Saw it later, but still, I hate the idea of making a bad shot and
Yeah.
it suffering.
Mhm.
But the flip side of that coin is, if you know you can shoot it anywhere, you're going to shoot it anywhere. So then it encourages unethical shots.
Mhm.
And then
That
you
is true.
then you might actually shoot one in the butt and the poison pod not go off. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
There's still that what if, but I think it's like if it's like crossbows, they have their advantages and they have their disadvantages. They have their groups of people that like people who can't pull the right poundage or can't pull or are unable to because of their youth or their age. That's where it's like I feel less bad about setting a crossbow up for a guy who's like 90 something years old still
For
wanting
sure.
to hunt with his grandson
Mhm.
than the 22-year-old felon. I feel less sorry about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
But but I think it's like if a kid's using a pod, then I'm okay with that. But
I'm with you. I
think that
go ahead. Sorry.
I think that cutoff age should be about 16, or I would say not should be at 16. It should be right at 16.
When you
Because
get
that's
your
either
license.
exactly. It's like kind of one of those either get a crossbow or start pulling more poundage, start shooting more. There's a lot of stuff that goes into archery. I think a lot of people just kind of take it for granted where they pull their bow out. Okay, shoot a couple times. All right, I hit the target. We're golden. Versus the guys that really take it seriously, shoot year round, because it's fine. It's a fine motor movement. That if you don't practice, you're going to wound deer.
Oh, it's a perishable skill, man. I mean, I was at the firing range yesterday, and it took an hour and a couple boxes of ammo for me to start, hitting center again. I mean, and it hadn't been that long since I've shot. It's the same way with bows. I mean, it's such a, like you said, it's a fine motor movement. There's so many small, pressure points and things that you can do to jack yourself up. If you're not constantly staying in that, you're gonna lose it quick.
Yeah, it's just like what you're talking about. You're a D1 athlete, muscle memory. If you don't throw the disc, or if somebody doesn't go out to play basketball or throw the football, once every it's hard to be great at anything if you just
anything.
10,000 hours to be professional. I don't know what it is to be a amateur, but it's got to be up there. If you want to be an effective one.
Any kind of sport requires repeatability.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, golf, or I'm sure discus or shooting or whatever. So
Right.
I mean, if you're not practicing that repeatedly, then you're not going to be able to repeat it.
Right. Something interesting. So I just kind of, when you said, you feel bad for making getting a crossbow ready for hunting for the 22-year-old felon. The ultimate poaching gun is a crossbow with a poison dart or poison pod on it.
Oh, it's an R18 is what it is. So it's, I don't know if you guys seen it on Instagram or not, but it's a crossbow that's literally 18 inches long. You can take the buttstock off of it, and you can hold it like a pistol. Shoots 330 foot a
Like
second.
Walking Dead or like Call of Duty.
Yeah, I want one of those for my
Yeah, pretty
house
much.
for like home defense.
I've actually had that conversation
one of
with
those?
people before, and it drives me insane because if you leave a cock or a crossbow cock for too long, it'll actually implode.
Oh, yeah, Jordan.
I didn't mean I'd leave it cocked.
No, he said he'd leave it cocked. Let the
Think
record
about it.
show.
What's
Literally never
what's the
said the word
crossbow gonna
cock. I
do?
can tell you that. But if I just have it next to my bed, imagine that somebody
Yeah.
breaks in and I just shh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing though. You're gonna have to cock it back, and I don't know.
Are you
if you've
gonna
ever
reel
heard-
it? It's one
Wait
of
one
those-
second. Wait 1 second.
Hold still.
Oh, whoa. Don't take that. Don't take that. Don't take that.
That's exactly what's gonna happen. The guy's gonna look at you and be like, "I'm gonna steal your stuff." Just-
Yeah.
But imagine somebody is grabbing your I almost said VCR, not that.
Oh my God. Somebody's grabbing your VCR and be like, thanks, buddy.
Imagine
I was gonna
they're
take that down to the
grabbing
pawn shop and
your-
get $20 for it, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're unplugging your iPad from the station. Well, all right, here you go. There's a modern reference.
Yes.
And then they just get freaking stuck with a bolt right in the heart. I mean,
There was a YouTuber, Kentucky Ballistic, that may or may not have shot a zombie gelatin or a humanoid gelatin with a crossbow.
Yeah.
hmm,
Freaking wrecked it.
bet
It
is.
was no, that comment section was insane because it started a huge mechanical versus fixed, because every mechanical that got shot out of it, it went through, but it hung up on the fletching, but all the mechanicals zipped straight through it like butter.
Okay. Just one word: mechanical or fixed.
For me,
Just one word. I'm not just one word: mechanical or fixed.
for whitetail, I'm going
For whitetail.
mechanical.
For whitetail.
For whitetail, I'm going mechanical. Now that being,
Upset.
I am.
I've
Thought
killed
you were gonna be
deer
on my
with,
side.
because I've killed deer with fixed and I've killed deer with mechanicals. You hit them in the right spot, they tend to die really quick.
Agreed.
Like you're talking about bad hits. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening. I had the biggest doe I've ever had come out in front of me at 24 yards. Everything felt good. Felt like it was a good shot. Hit it right in the knuckle.
Mhm.
And so that arrow went about yay far in,
Mhm.
and she was fine. Saw her the next day at like 30 something yards, tried to get a shot on her, but she kind of skedaddled. But to get into the whole, like, I don't want to get into the whole heavy arrow thing because that's just a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Jordan to get fired.
That's why I
up.
asked
But-
for one word.
Yeah. So I got the guy that I hung on his property, he shoots a 565 grain arrow going mock Jesus, right around 285. Which essentially I would feel perfectly okay shooting like with the right broadhead. I'd shoot a Cape Buffalo with that set up in a heartbeat. He shot that exact same doe like 2 days before. I think it was like Thursday morning or Wednesday evening, with a 3-inch mechanical, and it just zipped through it like butter.
Yeah.
No blood, no nothing, bunch of meat. And then doe walked out, and then we have I had my binos on me, so I was looking at it. And it's like no questions asked. The same doe. You can see where I hit it, and you can see where he hit it.
Jeez.
Basically, 14
warrior.
ring, and it's like, yeah. So she's getting she's gonna get smoked. That, like, all of our buck hunting is done until she dies.
She's getting
Yeah.
a 300 short mag next.
Yeah.
Well, it is in Arkansas, so that's semi frowned upon.
Yeah.
Wait, did we
Never-
ask that yet? Go ahead. But then we're gonna
Like,
ask-
hunting, shooting something out of season, like with a rifle, probably the best idea. I would
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yeah. Probably.
No,
uh,
just why you hunt Arkansas, but you can.
Oh yeah, no, longer season, and it's not during our busy season as much. And then like during February, that's where we had indoor happen. And so while a lot of people were going to indoor meets, that's when I would have like a free weekend, because you can't throw discus indoors. Something about too much space, and the frisbee kind of goes kind of far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's semi frowned upon. It's a 4.4 pound weapon of war that I have to chunk. So
Yeah, probably
kind
not
of
good to do indoors.
kind of a fun
Far,
time.
I'm showing my ignorance now on field events, but how far is a good discus throw?
So like national level, you're looking at like about 60 meters. So just shy of 200 feet, like 190, 194 in freedom foot. But like a good meet, you're looking anywhere between like 55 to 58 meters. So like 185 ish, give or take.
It's a long ways to throw something almost 5
A
pounds.
long ways, brother.
How far can you throw a 5 pound dumbbell? I mean, I know this is
Shaped
a little different, but-
in my prime,
20
I
yards.
gotta throw it over a mountain.
20 yards.
Yeah, I don't know. I can barely put it back on the rack.
A dumbbell and the discus are totally different though, because the dumbbell's just dead weight. Like I think a bowling pin has more pop. Like I have bowling pins in the back of my car right now, and that's what I use to throw for training.
Really?
Yeah, like we have the giant nets, so I'll just throw them into the net if I get lazy and don't want to walk out to go get the discus. So
That's what I would do every day, boss.
Just throw bowling
I
pins.
was my first year of coaching like full time. I was a track coach as well. It was my second sport, but I did sprinting. I obviously didn't do throwing or anything. But I couldn't do discus just because it's kind of scary. Because like I don't know when to stop spinning. Like I could do the shot put, give you a little half spin, toss that bad boy. That was fun to do. I'd mess around with the O linemen while they're out throwing their discus or throwing the shot put. But that discus ain't nothing to play around with, and especially the hammer, which we don't throw the hammer in high school.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, but you know what the hammer is?
ULM
the
actually
hammer, yeah.
lost. Actually, ULM just lost one of their best hammer throwers. She actually had the record. She transferred over to GCU, but she would throw that like well over 60 meters. Like I think she was over 60, 61, 62, somewhere in that ballpark. Like, and she's a freaking beast. Name's Hannah Blood. She's from England.
Oh my God, that's the sickest freaking hammer throwing name I've ever heard.
Hannah Blood.
Hannah Blood. Yeah, nicest person you'll ever meet in your life.
I don't believe that for a second.
No, she's literally
she
the
throws
team
a
mom. Like when she announced that she was going, that she had signed with GCU, everyone was like, hey, proud son moment, good luck, mom, on her Instagram feed. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not messing with a girl named Hannah Blood.
No,
It throws
especially
a
who
hammer.
can throw a frying pan at me at 60 yards and smoke me in the head.
I never thought about that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they could throw
Yeah.
anything.
The worst feeling in my head or in my mind is when I'm picking up a disc and that hammer's going over me, that chain makes this really cool sound.
Yeah,
And it's just, you look up and you just see this ball get lost in the sun, and you just hit the ground and pray.
yeah, I ain't messing with that.
Yeah, you
Because
better
if
hope
you
you had a
get-
good throw that day.
Because if you get hit by one of those, you're done. Like there's just nothing that anybody can do with you.
It's legit.
Because it's
Yeah.
how much do the girls weigh? I'm gonna get this wrong. I want to say 8-ish pounds. 7. No, that's the guys. The guys weigh 16 pounds. Guys weigh 16. Girls weigh 8 pounds. And it's
Cannonball.
going.
Yeah.
It's a literal cannonball attached to a 4-foot chain that just goes.
Yeah,
That's
I'm,
pretty nuts.
I'm out.
Yeah, no, the amount of put that into your kinetic energy calculator and tell me how much that's just gonna suck if when I get hit.
Thrown by a girl named
Yeah,
Blood.
talk about
I'm
shooting
with you.
heavy. Like
Miss Blood. Yeah.
throwing a
Yeah.
hammer across.
Mm-mm.
Shooting heavy got me back thinking about bows. So now it's not really the crazy season at Simmons right now in the bow department, or what? Or it kind of still is, or
Kind of the hit and miss. Like some days we'll be backed up where I don't eat lunch, and then some days it's we're just doing inventory and getting everything counted. ATA show actually happens here pretty quick, so that's what we've been kind of ramping up for. Looking at the new products that have been released on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that.
So how quickly do y'all get the new stuff? So like PSC put their stuff out in November, which is so weird to me that they put it out in the middle of deer season. Like,
yeah, and they're releasing a new bow too, that on the 11th, I think. Yeah.
So explain why do you think they do that? Like, because everybody's already got their setup, or they should at least. They've been practicing with it for a couple months.
Christmas presents,
I guess.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. I think it has to roll. Like, I think it was at one point it was based on the target archery scene, because that's where a lot of their income comes from, because the bows are more expensive.
Right.
And the guys spending money on the target bows are spending a lot more money than your bow hunting setups.
Right.
And so like a Matthews target bow, I want to say starts at like $1,900. It's insane.
Ooh. Start.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But then you're talking about like your really good sides, your stabilizers that are 30 some odd inches long. They're just, it's crazy. It's an entirely different beast, but I think it was based around their season. So they can get their target bow set up and then get their hunting bow set up. But now it's just, I have no idea what anybody's doing. It's
doesn't make any sense.
Is PSC a big target bow company?
They are. A lot of international shooting. You don't see as many American shooting as you do American shooting, like Hoyt's and Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that does have to do with marketing. But there was a bunch of, and then you see a lot of stuff happening with PSC now, like they're up for sale. So there's been a bunch of, I don't want to say people jumping ship, but a lot of people who have been shooting really well with PSC over the last few years are now with other companies. The scary thing is those guys are also shooting at the exact same level, so it doesn't matter what bow or what equipment's on their bow. They're shooting they're just stone cold killers. I mean, that's just
right.
Like Kyle Douglas was shot for PSC for a while, just swapped over to Bowtech, and then put up a 360 X count at his first competition, which is a perfect score. And so it doesn't matter what he's shooting, he's going to shoot it well.
So he's probably just going to the highest bidder.
If Tiger Woods went from Titleist to Mizuno, I'm pretty sure he's still going to be under par. You know?
Yeah, he's still going to be good. I'd just go where the money goes.
Right.
Whoever. Yeah, and there's not a lot of money in the archery world. There's a little bit, like once you get to a certain level, there is. So like Levi Morgan at one point, I think it was the first to have $1 million contract with an archery company. But it's also Levi freaking Morgan. So there's a little bit, there's some other stuff going on there.
Yeah.
That dude's insane. But at the same time, if you look at a bunch of, I don't want to say hometown heroes, but a bunch of guys who they might be semi-pro or, shoot at a high level, but not that high of a level, they're only making a couple $1,000s. Not enough to support a family. So it's something you got to do because you love it, not something chasing money.
Yeah, it's not like you're the Chris B, or the hunting public guys or any of those
like if you can build a brand around you as an archer, or just a hunter in general, it's game on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what Chris B's done with Ultra View. That's what he's done with his apparel. And then he has his own veins now with boning. He's got his own stabilizers with Shrewd. I mean, he's got a huge following, and it's really cool because it gets a bunch of young guys in.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of frustrating when you get this 12-year-old kid. I want Chris B's bow, and then you tell them the sticker price of that bow, just bare bow, and they're like, "Well, I got $400," and I was like, "Well, I got something that we can get you in, and it'll grow with you."
Yeah, I got a bear.
I wasn't going to say
bear's a good one.
A bear is a good bow.
It is. I mean, mine's a good middle of the road bear. I love it. Absolute Bear Adapt by the Hunting Public.
This is a good segue because I want to ask you the same question that I asked Todd, and I'm not asking you to brand shame at all, but I want to know your favorite bow brand and your least favorite bow brand as far as the shop's concerned. What do you see the most problems with? What do you like to shoot? All that.
The most problems are going to be with crossbows.
Fair enough.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah. And that's just not one crossbow in particular crossbow. It's crossbows across the board. The guys that mess the crossbows up are the guys that have been using crossbows for 30 years, or it's the guy that got it 4 days ago and didn't realize how close he was to that cam was to the tree. And when the crossbow shoots, it goes from very narrow to not very narrow very quickly. So he'll have what's called a limb strike or a cam strike. And essentially his cam's going to want to go this way, and then it's going to want to go back into the bow, and then all the energy goes this way, and then your strings and cables actually detonate.
Sounds like a
Really
good
fun time. Makes a really weird sound
lose
once.
a lip or something.
Yeah. But no, as far as bow brands go, PSC is probably the most frustrating to work on sometimes. Just with the revolve cam, it's good cam in theory, but getting it moved left and right, you got to deal with cam lean after that. And there's just, I think their new cam, where instead of having to put it in the press and then take the axle out and then switch all the spacers around, now you can actually just barely press it. You can pop them out, throw the new ones in. But to do that, you have to shoot the really aggressive cam, so you get your speed, but it's not the smoothest drawn bow in the world. So we set an Omen up, or a 2022 Omen up. It was like 523 grains going like 310. It's like 28-inch draw, 80 pounds. Like just an absolute sledgehammer of a bow. I didn't want to draw it back though. You get to about like right here and it's like, oh dear God, and then break over. But man, when you let that thing go, it's gone. So
Yeah, until it blows up in your face, and then you're gone.
Yeah.
My brother's had 2 bows blow up on him.
Really?
Mm-hmm. At all. That's in my head. Not every time I pull back, but a lot.
So, man, that's wild. I want to unpack that at some point.
Well, yeah. All right. So hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. So least favorite is PSE. What's your favorite?
most favorite to work on is probably going to be the new school Bowtech with the deadlock cam. So essentially, and then the elites, the cure going forward, essentially to change anything on that bow, I take an Allen key, and on the Bowtechs I move the cam left and right, and on the elites I twist a Allen key and actually moves your limb pocket left and right. So essentially, I can get whatever arrow I want to tune out of it. Whether or not a fixed broadhead is going to fly correctly out of it is still up for debate. But I can make a 600 spine out of a 70-pound bow, shoot a bullet hole through paper, which is kind of cool. Incredibly dangerous, but really cool.
Yeah, I had some cam lean problems out of mine. I've got a Realm SR6.
There you go.
And I could not. If you looked at my wrist, the arrow was pointing at like 2:00.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the local bow shop, and I was like, dude, I cannot. This thing's driving me nuts. She said, well, you idiot, you got your wrist. I'm like, no, that's the only way I can get it to bullet hole, because that's how bad the arrow's kicking out. Anyway, long story short, the cams were awful. He had to do all kind of adjustments on them, and it was a new bow. It just came that way. He said, yeah, every one of these I've had to do something with.
I have found that my bow, after I've shot it a lot now, it started shooting a little bit to the left. Could that be anything? What do you think? Like
it's breaking in.
That's what I thought. That's what I keep thinking. I just keep adjusting.
He's the Bowtech.
Yeah. Hey, Bowtech. All right. So, yeah. Sorry, I don't know why we're talking to each other. The blind leading the blind here. Yeah. So I did find that like after a while, I started shooting at 20. I'm still locked in. At 30 and 40, it's going a little bit to the left.
What's your bubble doing?
I don't have one.
That might be it then.
That's your first problem.
Well, no.
There's your first
that's
problem.
why. That's why we talk.
So when you draw the bow back, get everything anchored. 90% of the sights in there are going to have a bubble either at the bottom or the top of the sight housing. And so what'll happen is you'll be able to see if you're canting the bow left or right. Gotcha. And so probably what's happening is you feel level, everything feels good, but then you might actually just be moving it a little bit to the left.
Let the record show, I have tried to give him an HHA Kingpin like 4 different times with a bubble on it. It's a great sight, and he won't take it. So that's on him.
Yeah, 3-pin.
Yeah.
No, it's a single pin.
Single pin.
You got to dial it. That's what drew me to the Garmin. Is I loved the single pin, but I hated having to move it.
So I have the HHA.
Do you have the Garmin where you can put like multiple pins in it? Like it'll pop up like 3 or 4? Or
yeah. So if I hold the trigger button down, I got a button on the front of my it was Christmas. If I hold it down, it ranges. If I just tap it, it pulls up a 3-pin that I dialed down when I set it up. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's sick.
They call it stalk mode, I think, for if you're just walking around and you need to pull up and shoot quick.
I've always thought that.
If I just use that rather than that.
But then why'd you pay all that money for the sight?
Exactly right. That's why I don't do it. I never
the only time I would ever use a Garmin is if I was going to Africa and I was going to be shooting everything from an Impala to a Cape Buffalo, because I would 100% get the one or the Pro that has the micro adjust, and then where I can put in 10 different arrows. So I can have my 900, or no, it's 800 and I want to say it's like 840, 830, somewhere in that ballpark, 830 grain arrow for everything. And then I'll have like my 400 and just screaming demon for Bahal that walks out that's going to jump bigger than Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine doesn't. Mine can't do 10. I think I can do 2 setups on mine on the Zero. Here,
You got the Pro, or did you get the just the?
no, it's the. I don't know. I think it was a Pro Zero with an X. It's the one. It was the next level up because the base one you could only get. It was only one color LED. The next one had 2 color LED. I got that one.
Okay, I got you.
Sounds like the one you're talking about is well above that.
Yeah, that's now it's the one where you can either put on the Matthews where the bridge lock. It comes as a dovetail, and so you can either put it on the Picatinny mount on the Hoyts or the bridge lock through the Matthews.
Oh, okay.
Picatinny mount on the Hoyt is so cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. I'm excited to play with mine.
It was freaking sick. So okay, so let's talk about that. So y'all this year, you told me that y'all were going to put like 3 bows in a drawing, and like 3 sides. Did y'all do that?
No.
Ooh, because that was really fun.
It would have been fun. For me, it came down to 2 bows this year. So the Bowtech. So what I wrote down, like, I got to do pro and cons for everything that I do, as far as like arrows, sights, all that. And so when I looked at it, it's like I want a 34-inch axle to axle bow. I'm building, like, my whitetail bow is perfect. It's a Bowtech Solution SS, 30-inch axle to axle. Goes to my draw length, 70 pounds, 430 going 310, which is insane.
Yeah,
it's moving.
Yeah.
And then I can get like a 500 grain arrow going on like 285 off of it. So it's like I can kill anything in North America out of a tree stand or my saddle with that bow.
Right.
But the other part of me is like, well, I really like having the speed, but I want to shoot around that 80-pound mark so I can get a 500 grain arrow going like 310, 320, somewhere in that ballpark. So at my draw length, I'm able to do that. And so why not use it?
Yeah.
So that night, at one point, I got paid to work on my shoulder. So as far as like, I have fairly strong rotator cuffs, so I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
So it came down to the Bowtech SX80, which is it's a 34-inch axle, 80-pounder from Bowtech that they had this year. Super sweet shoot bow. Really like that one. And then the next one was the Hoyt VTM 34.
Yeah. Just a cool looking bow.
It does look cool.
Like the Picatinny rail system and all that. I'm like, yeah, that's sick. But now I haven't held a Hoyt in my hand in a long time. But the times that I did, I'm like, I don't know. You know, like it's just different.
There's small things about every bow. I want really, and I don't like. And Justin shoots a cure. I know you were talking about that. That back wall just throws me off, man. I shot his, and it just
does he have the limb stops on it, or does he have the cable stops?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've never inspected
Justin,
that far.
is he on the Instagram live feed right now?
I don't think he's preaching tonight.
Yeah, he's not.
They started back there.
Is it Ala? Yala? What was it called?
Yeah.
So his there's a guy that goes there named Chance Kelly, who is one of the most holy Joes my age that I've ever met in my life. He's also one of the most cold-blooded assassins with a bow that I've ever had the honor of working on his bow.
Really?
That dude is 1 deer away from limited gal in Louisiana right now.
With a bow.
Yeah. No,
We need to meet this guy.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. That'd be a cool kid to get on your podcast, but he does, he has he and one of his buddies have an Instagram account. I cannot for the life of him remember it. But
you got to figure it out. We got to have him on.
Yeah, we're going to follow him.
Yeah. No, here you go. I'll pull it up real quick because I guarantee you I'm going to remember it the second I open up Instagram.
I was curious to know what you chose, or if y'all were doing the thing, because that was to put Fate, or to put like what bow you're shooting into Fate's hands, that just made me nervous because that's a lot of money.
I would I mean, you got to know what brands are going in the pot. But,
yeah.
For me it would have been 2 brands. Here it is. It's Be Still Outdoors.
Oh, I like
Be Still
that.
Outdoors. Write
Cool.
that down.
Yeah, I need to write that
Be
down.
Still Outdoors.
Okay, we both just smoked our mics.
Yeah, we did. That's what I was saying about the cure, though. I don't like that one, but I'm going to be far less picky this coming year because the only thing that I'm interested in is a smaller bow.
Yeah.
I don't even
How
care.
small?
I don't need it to be tiny. I mean, like my old bow was a Matthews Z something, Z28 something.
Z7.
Z, I don't know, maybe it was tiny, little. I mean, I'm talking like, it was like
You see mine.
Right
I
there,
have
and the
a
limbs
PSE.
were like super long brace height.
no, it doesn't seem. I'll have to pull it back out. I haven't looked at it in years.
I shot the PSE Bow Madness extra short.
See, I don't even know. This wasn't
He
my
saw
bow.
it. It was
my
tiny.
brother gave me this bow, so I couldn't even say. I can't remember what it is. This was a
Yeah.
Matthews, but it was really short, and it was so much more convenient to pack in and hang up in the tree. I mean, I literally cannot put. I told you I can't fit my bow in my Plano case,
Right.
And I also can't really fit it on my backpack.
Yeah,
It's
that's kind of ridiculous.
giant.
Yeah.
When it's in the tree, I've got to have my hook 10 inches above my head just in order to have the grip where I can get it without having to like that.
Point proven.
Amateur,
look at it, dude. It's
amateur hour.
Yeah, that's dangerous. You just
And then
smoked
which bow were you shooting again one more time?
The Realm SR6.
Well, SR6. Okay.
It was
What's your two favorite things about that bow, or one thing? What's one thing you could change about that bow that you wish, and one thing that you don't like about that bow?
all right. Aside from the size,
This is bow counseling.
I don't like the grip on it.
Okay.
It was too narrow from the factory. So actually, I bought it used. The guy bought it, shot it like 10 times at his house, hated it. So I bought it straight from him. But the day he got it, he wrapped batten tape around it.
Lizard skin.
Lizard skins. Exactly.
There you
go. And I looked at it and I laughed. I was like, screw that. That's going to be so inconsistent. But when I took it off, the grip was so narrow, I put it back on because it didn't fit right in my hand. It didn't feel right without that. So don't like the grip. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have complaints about it other than the size and the fact that it was so ridiculous to get tuned with my heavy setup until we got the cams figured out. And it still was difficult after that. I don't know if that was as much the bow as me just not quite being right with my arrow setup. I know initially I was way too underspun for what I was trying to shoot. So some of that was on me, but anyway, what do you got? Oh, you asked that question for a reason.
So you'd have to wrap it. Yeah. You'd have to wrap it, but if you did a Bowtech CP28, that'd be a really, really good setup for you. Essentially it'd be this
down, secretary.
It'd be the same bow essentially that I'm shooting now, but with a little bit shorter axle to axle. So it'll be right at that 28-inch mark, 70 pounds, really good brace height. So super forgiving. So for those heavy arrows, it's not the only downside to it is it's going to be significantly slower. That being said, they do have a performance mod on it. So you could either have the comfort mod, which will be super smooth draw all the way through, or the performance where about right here, you're going to have a little bit of a breakover. Very similar to what you're shooting now. And that's how you pick up.
Yeah, mine breaks pretty heavy now.
Yeah. So that's how you'll pick up about, I'd say about 10 to 12 feet a second, depending your draw length, draw weight, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Did he just sell you a new bow?
I think it did. So compared, are you saying it's with the performance, is it still going to be slower than what I'm shooting now? Because I really don't want to
just because.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of the brace height.
Yeah.
And then it is going to be a little bit smoother cam, so you are going to lose a little bit of speed. But what you're going to gain in the short bow and then the grip, Gillingham actually makes aftermarket grips for that bow, so you can even get the angle. So it's like if you shoot like wrist high, wrist low, whatever. You can change.
I shoot like stop sign. I'm pretty wrist high, or I guess
Yeah, so it might just be the stock one. We just wrap it with some Bomar grip tape or the lizard skin or whatever you find it.
Okay, cool.
So that'd be one of the bows I would shoot. The Hoyt VTM 31 would be another really good one. It's gonna have a little bit different grip. You might like it, you might hate it.
I have no idea. I've never really shot Hoyts. I've shot Matthews and Bowtech are all I've ever really.
Yeah, the tuning system on the Bowtech and the Elites are going to be the two that you're really going to like, just because you can do it in your backyard with an Allen key and it's impossible to screw up. but the Hoyt, it's going to be what's called spacers in the axle, and then you'll shift the cams left and right. So you'll have to have a bow press for that. But once you get it on, it's on. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that. It's just got to play with it, hit and miss. But 9 times out of 10, especially on the heavy arrows, shooting a little bit slower, it's going to help you be able to tune the broadheads a little bit more, because
Like that.
there's a fine line between too fast and like way too fast for fixed heads. While they do become a little unforgiving unless you have a really good fletching, your bow's tuned, all that. Like I know guys that can tune a fixed head, especially large fixed heads going 310. A lot of that does have to do with the shooter. And so if they've been shooting at a high level for a long time, it's a lot easier to. But if it's just Joe Schmo walking in, hey, I want to get a bow, never shot or haven't shot in the last 10 years, what are my options? Like one of the reasons, so like one of the comments that I always get or people make on videos that where we're tuning bows, and I actually made it a couple of times on your video, why did we shoot it through paper? It's a lot easier to tune a person than it is to tune a bow. Because with the bow, it's super simple. You get the arrow to the right length. You set it to whatever the manufacturer says away from the riser. You set it level. You shoot through paper. As long as you have good form, you're going to bullet hole, right? If a bow or if a shooter hasn't shot a bow or hasn't shot that particular bow, you're going to run into issues, because what will happen is they're going to be torquing it, or they'll be anchoring in the wrong spot or different spots every single time, throwing everything off, right?
Right.
But if I can be like, hey, when you get anchored, look at the top of your cam, and if it's coming way out, let it down, because every time you shoot, it sends a signal to your brain saying, yes, I did everything right. So this is how we have to do it every time. But if we look and if your cam's making a hard left and your string's coming out this way, the arrow is going to fly weird. And so if I can teach the person how to tune themselves to the perfectly tuned bow, it's a lot easier.
Right. That's what, you guys got a lot. Well, I'll say you got a lot of heat. There were like 2 or 3 people that were like, I wouldn't let another man touch my bow. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like, then don't come.
Yeah. And if your arrow's flying funky, it's really easy to say, oh, I screwed that up. How do I fix that?
Right.
The same thing. You just it's something you got to practice. But you shot the bow for a while now. So if you can, when you come back in, like we'll have you shoot through paper and make sure that you're bullet holing too, which you will be, because your form's good. And if I got to make like a micro adjustment to the rest that you would have never noticed otherwise, it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
It's tough, like go ahead. What?
It's really easy to see where it's like, if you screw up, because that arrow is going to hit somewhere off left and right wise, or up and down for your anchor point moving this way or this way. And so if you don't hit it's kind of you got to hit the reset button, or it's like, okay, how did that happen? How do I fix that?
That's where I got so frustrated with mine, and again, originally I can't blame anything but me for having the wrong spine arrow. But even once I got that right, I'm as much as I would love to have an excuse, I'm most often will point to myself first. I'm going to say, okay, what did I do? So then I spend the first 2 hours trying to tweak myself, like, oh, I must have been torquing, must have been doing this and that. And then until you get exhausted, and then you can't shoot anymore. And then you come back the next day, and then and you're frustrated. So then I go to the bow shop, and that's when he's like, oh, well, your cam's at, 15 degrees off or whatever. So that's when I don't know. It's hard. Bows are so much.
You gotta have a really short memory.
Yeah.
Shooting a bow. Like like I hit a doe, like when I hit that doe in the shoulder, that's probably the worst I felt in a long time. Just because I knew that deer was suffering. And then I saw her next day, chasing one of her fawns, and I was like, okay, I feel less bad, but still, like,
right.
Like, I feel worse about that than I do
though, right?
Next. Say again.
I said poison pod. That wouldn't have happened though.
Yeah, I don't think he wouldn't have even got that far enough into it for the poison pod. That's how bad it was.
Sticking out.
Yeah, it would have been like on the tip of my Grim Reaper, and it was bad. It was a bad deal. But yeah, no. But I feel worse about bad shots like that than I do like breaking up with my ex-girlfriend. Like I wish I could have the shot. I wish I could have the shot more than Like
Have her back.
exactly.
I'm with you.
It's
I'm
bad.
with you. I haven't talked about it on here, but
Your ex-girlfriend?
no, no, not that either. But no, I've the most unethical shot I've ever taken haunts me to this day and has completely changed the way that I hunt and take shots now. I mean, it's changed everything. I'll never do it again because I still just right now I feel just awful about it.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I don't even know what it is, but I feel bad.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, that makes you want to put more practice and stuff into bow hunting.
Mhm.
And that is also
doubt.
why it's so much more rewarding. I didn't even kill a deer with the bow this year. But that's what I'm hunting with the rest of the year now that I've killed one.
Mhm.
Is that it is just so much harder. That's so impressive that a guy's killed 5.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that dude's a straight up killer. Like there's just no in and four bets about it. And a lot of them are on public or on private land. But at the same time, deer coming into a feeder that know there's a chance they're going to get
Yeah,
shot at.
jumpy
I'm
as
super-
crap, man.
It's
they're super
insane.
That's I killed a deer this past weekend.
You'll actually enjoy his arrow setup. He was shooting. He did the reverse range fairy, so he was shooting a 400 and I think it was like 402 grain arrow. And it was so you're talking about arrow spines.
Yeah.
So 400. So it's an Easton injection. So 480 spine. Cut to 26 inches off of a 70-pound BXR. Yeah, give you
that was my old setup. I shot injections with hypodermics, and
yeah, they fly great through paper, but cut them flexions off, throw 18 grains on the back and tell me what that arrow does.
that's exactly what I changed, man, because I started seeing what was happening, and my nephew was shooting the same setup, injections with hypodermics, and they went on this management hunt in Texas, and he shot 6 deer. That was the deal. So the guy he went with was shooting his $20,000 buck or whatever, and he said, "Well, you can come shoot up. You can shoot 6 does."
Right.
It's pretty cool. And my brother got to go and film him doing all of it. And so all of these were at, these are practically walked out on a leash. So they're all at 20 yards. And I think it was 4 out of the 6. He put perfect shots on all of them. I mean, the kid can shoot. But 4 out of the 6, arrow goes in freaking 10 ring. And one of them came out the butthole. One of them came out the chest. Like they go in there. And by the time that mechanical does whatever it's going to do when it hits meat, they're going all over the place, and they lost 2 of the deer at 20 yards.
Yeah.
I'm talking good shots.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to knock the broadhead of the arrow, because what's happening is that arrow's probably flexing a lot. So Ranch Fairy talks about this a lot, the arrow paradox.
Yeah.
Where you have a lot of that energy kind of flying on the back, and then when it hits, that arrow will actually like move left and right, versus like your arrows with the shooting the heavy setups. High FOC, when they hit, they just drive into the target.
Right.
So same concept, just on live animals. So that's why I tend to shoot either a 3 or 4 blade mechanical. That being said, I legitimately have a 7 arrow quiver in my room right now with 6 different broadheads in it, and I think it's 2 fixed, 4 mechanicals. So I mean, that's just you put them in the right spot.
Yeah. Oh, you're right, for sure. I mean, I'm changing broadheads too. I mean, just because if you don't make a perfect shot with my broadhead, you get 0 blood trail.
What broadhead are you shooting, and which one are you going to?
They don't make it anymore. I'm shooting the Ashby Alaska 200.
Okay.
It's a real short snub nose Tonto looking thing. Single bevel. But there's no bleeder blade, which if you listen to Ashby and Ranch Fairy, they're all anti bleeder blade. But at this point, I'm all about a bleeder blade. Yeah, you need one. If you don't, because it's going to go through. There's no doubt about that. But if you're not hitting what you intend to hit, if you make a bad shot, which I'm human, most hunters are human. If you put a bad shot on it, you're never going to find that deer because there's going to be 0 blood trail. So I want something with a little more width, a little more and height. I want a bleeder blade. I'm going to look at Iron Wills. Maybe I've got.
There you go. And they have that single bevel, single bevel all the way up to like 200. I want to say it's 200 or 250 grains.
Yeah. So if I go to a 200 Iron Will with a bleeder, I shouldn't have to change anything in my setup, and it'll be it's just going to be a easy switch.
I thought I had one.
Credit to Pro Tip. He shoots Iron Wills. That's what got me looking at them.
They are sweet. They look cool if anything else.
They do look cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one
Yeah,
like
just
on my arrow, like right there. There, I'm shooting the wides right now. Those things are nasty.
I mean, I'd love to go to Bishop's, but we got to get sponsored before that happens.
Good God.
Yeah, you need to
That's
like
a-
everything, Riley. Like everything, share everything, so we can stop having to pay for everything.
Well,
That'd be
let's
really
tag Bishop.
nice.
Maybe they'll send me a broadhead
Yeah.
that's a car note, and I can never shoot it.
All right, deal.
You're gonna have to do a blood sacrifice to get those.
I ain't scared of
kidding.
tagging nobody.
things are-
I'll send anything to. I'll send all these Instagram.
Have you
reels
seen the
to everyone.
videos of those broadheads, the
No,
Bishop
I haven't,
broadheads?
actually.
They're made out of S7 tool steel. You can literally the dude shoots it through center blocks in the videos, and then like cuts.
Oh,
paper
you
with
you
it.
need it. It's
It's
not a
wild.
want. You need it.
Yeah, till I stick it in a
You seen
pit
the
and I watch it run away.
Well, here's what we do.
you seen the videos? You seen the Iron Will video where he's doing the pressure test with the different broadheads?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, so this is really cool. So Iron Will Bill is probably the most OCD individual ever, and he comes from an engineering background. He got ticked off because he didn't find a broadhead he liked, and so he made his own out of that was an tool steel. And he came up with the Iron Will design, where it's the Tanto tip, bleeder blades, and then crazy. But there's videos where he's taken aoudad, elk, moose, boar, whitetail shoulders. So it's going to be the hide, the meat, the bone, and then he's actually putting in a pressure test where he's seeing how much force it takes. Those Iron Wills take,
Brilliant.
I want to say it's like 33 pounds. There's like sub 30 pounds of kinetic force to actually get through the shoulder meat. And then you have your chisel tips, your cut on contact, your 2-plate mechanicals. They're taking like somewhere ballpark of like 50 to over 100 pounds of force to get through the same spot, which is insane. So yeah, I'll swear by Iron Wills all day long.
I see. Sold.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we're for sure coming back. I don't know. I think Mr. Todd said something like a tune-up with my bow or something, but we're just gonna go to Simmons because it's always a cool trip.
I'm gonna go buy a bow for sure.
Buy a bow.
I say for sure. My wife listens to this. I plan on buying a bow next year.
We have an amazing sale on Bowtex right now. We got a bunch of
Christmas was expensive.
yeah, but we got a bunch. I don't know how much. I don't think I'll get in that much trouble if I say it, but they're aftermarket, so they're not making them anymore. We got a bunch for like $700 right now. They were like $1,100 bows.
Don't look at me like that.
Back in the day, so
Don't look at me like that.
You got that.
You're saving $400 right there.
You make I pay you that a podcast.
And what, this is
Yeah, we each get 500 a podcast. That's what these the sponsorships are for, man.
Yeah.
What, do you think we do this for free, for fun?
500 cups of Dirty Duck coffee.
Yes, indeed. Oh, okay. All right. So last thing, and then we'll cut it off because we just need to just do another show. We don't need to waste all this goodness in one show. We just need to have Riley on again.
I like it.
Part 2, because I've got.
You need to get with Todd and have him do like an after action report for the ATA show.
I'm all about that.
Ooh, that's a great
all about
idea.
that.
What's new?
Yeah.
What's up and coming?
Yeah.
Because you'll have him from the source right then and there.
What are we putting
That
on
would be-
next year's Christmas list? Yes.
Boots
Thank
on
you.
the ground.
Thank you for that. Ooh. That's what we're calling it.
Calling it.
Boots on the ground. We have a reporter, boots on the ground at the
Reporter
ATA.
live at the ATA show. Yes, and it's
I
Todd.
don't know
Go
if
to
he's
you,
being
Todd.
quiet. He's gonna be a little busy there, but then you have the NDS show the couple of weeks after that too. So that's where all your a lot of saddle stuff is going to come from. There's supposed to be a bunch of saddle stuff at the ATA show this year too. So
Tell Simmons to go and bring us a special guest. I would love to go.
And
to
I'm
that.
still guilt tripping Todd into.
man, if I can't go as a special guest, I don't know who's going.
Look, Finning throws. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Look here, man.
You make the store money. We make the store laugh. So
Yeah.
I can go and you can be with me in spirit, and it's gonna be okay. I need some new saddle setup. I want an all new saddle setup. I'm sick of it, tired of it. I'm ready for something new.
You just come to try. Well, you're getting your boat tuned up. We got all of them hanging out right there.
Yeah.
So
They do. All set up. You can just go ahead and like stand in them, all the platforms.
As
So it's
impressed
pretty
as
bring-
I am
yeah,
with the
bring your-
Jeff
bring your
Lyon
old
bag,
saddle, too.
I want
We'll hook it.
saddle.
bring your old saddle too. We'll hook it up to one of the posts, and we can see kind of what you like, what you don't like, and then go from there and find one.
Boom. That's why you got to go to Simmons.
Dude,
Out.
this is
That's
great.
again why you got to go to Simmons Sporting
What a
Goods.
plug, man.
I
It
know.
sells itself.
What a dang, it does. And no, I was going to say, Riley, we started this before we started recording. You asked about the coffee we owe you because you won the. So
I was gonna,
no, we owe you. Okay,
I would have asked if I would have
calm
remembered it. Yeah,
Calm
call him
down.
out, please.
We owe coffee. I sent some hats last week to get done, and I was going to send you and Mr. Todd the hats and coffee. So that's why
That's
it's
awesome.
taking so long.
there you go. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you hats. It's that one right there. Gave them to the guy on Thursday, so hopefully he'll have them in the next couple of days, and we'll
That's awesome.
send them
I
out.
don't
Yeah, I've been
know.
looking for a new hat. That's the one thing. Never trust a Bowtech with a clean hat because either he doesn't hunt or he works in the shop all the time.
Ooh.
All right, write that down. I have so many things wrote down.
That's another reel.
Never trust a Bowtech with a clean hat.
Because either he
I
doesn't
never trust a
hunt-
skinny chef. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I got like the what was it? The Vortex hat I was wearing in when you did your video. That thing died, just straight up obliterated in several pieces now.
R.I.P. in pieces.
Yeah, no kidding. But it's like the band broke on it, and then this part broke on it.
Oh, you got to keep it, man. That's a trophy.
You
Yeah,
gotta
no,
keep
it was.
I've got a hat in my
the,
closet that literally has a 22 hole through the bill because I'm not proud of it. I was probably 18. I had a 22 long rifle in the back of my truck in freshman year of college, and apparently I had one in the chamber, and apparently it went off.
Holy moly.
Yep, shot through the bill of my hat.
You were wearing the hat?
No.
Okay.
The hat was in the
Gosh.
sorry. Hat,
Okay.
hat was in the back. Gun was in the back. Gun went off. That's why you always either unload your gun or keep it on safety.
Yeah.
Right?
Jeez.
Gun safety shit.
And I'm thinking of like all the different ways where you can like finagle and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
It's not
dang,
going off for some reason.
I'm not sure why we're talking about this.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
that-
I was like, dude, I thought y'all were trying to get monetized on YouTube. This is how you get demonetized.
yeah, this is how you. Yeah, this
No.
is how your whole
No,
show gets
I was
kicked
not
off
wearing.
of everything.
I was not wearing the hat, but it definitely did happen, and it's still cool. So I kept it.
All right.
It's a terrible hat.
For a second there, I was like, man, this guy's been on the podcast for like
no.
30 episodes.
I make unethical decisions. I don't make stupid decisions. I'm actually almost. I'm not going to say I'm a Nazi. I'm a policeman with with gun safety. Like I won't hunt with somebody until I know that they're
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I told you
Solid.
that's why I carry the Taurus G2 S whatever 9 millimeters because that has
Got
a
a
safety,
safety,
on it.
yeah.
But
anyway.
let's we got to plan this again, Riley.
Yep.
We've almost gone like an hour
Absolutely.
and a half, which is nuts. That's great. But we got to do it again because I have so many other questions and
Heck yeah.
just
And
we
then-
need to. Well, let's try to get you and Todd on the next one. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah.
And we talk
definitely.
about maybe after the show, we talk about what's new and kind of give everybody like a heads up, save up your money, go ahead and be nice to your wives so that you can buy these things. So,
Absolutely.
yep. Riley Finnegan, everybody, check him out. Finny Throws, go see him at Simmons Sporting Goods.
Thank y'all for having me.